everyone. I'd like to give a warm welcome to all of you out there. My name is Renee, and you're watching a video about health for today. Believe it or not, God really does care about your health. In 2022, just about anywhere you look, sickness and disease are on the rise. In America, 4,000 times a day, someone has a heart attack. A new diabetic is discovered every 50 seconds, and 1 out of every 4 people have cancer. That's 25% of the American population. There's also a rise in the number of strokes per year, gastrointestinal problems, arthritis conditions, lung problems, lupus, multiple sclerosis, and the list goes on. The question is, why? Many people believe that God is to blame, but is this really the case? In the Bible, in 3 John 2, we're told, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth." Disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from a violation of the laws of health. In case of sickness, the cause should be ascertained, unhealthful conditions should be changed, wrong habits corrected. Then nature is to be assisted in her efforts to expel impurities and to reestablish right conditions in the system. That's Ministry of Healing, page 127, paragraph 1. Then also in Ministry of Healing, the next paragraph says, pure air, sunlight, abstemiousness, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, trust in divine power, these are the true remedies. Every person should have a knowledge of nature's remedial agencies and how to apply them. It is essential both to understand the principles involved in the treatment of the sick and to have a practical training that will enable one rightly to use this knowledge. Then in Child Guidance, page 361, paragraph 2, it says, we should educate ourselves not only to live in harmony with the laws of health, but to teach others a better way. So that is my goal here, is to teach you a better way, to teach you God's way from the Bible and the Spirit of Prophecy. We're also told in 11 Manuscript Release, page 187, paragraph 3, become more intelligent in regard to the laws of life. How do we do that? We educate people in the laws of life so they can know how to preserve health. MM 259, paragraph 3. It also says in Ministry of Healing, page 128, it is the duty of every person for his own sake and for the sake of humanity to inform himself in regard to the laws of life and to conscientiously obey them. Also, 17-137, paragraph 1 says, true religion and the laws of health go hand in hand. KC, page 20, paragraph 4 says, you are to apply the laws of health. You are to apply the laws of life and health to your own case. In violating the laws of health, even in doing the service of God, you misrepresent your Maker. So today I'm going to be talking to you about air. God wants us in health, and before sin ever entered into this world, God made a pure atmosphere for us. He put our first parents, Adam and Eve, in the outdoors where they could breathe in the invigorating air of heaven. Air is the most essential element needed to sustain life. The strength of the system is in great degree dependent upon the amount of pure, fresh air that we breathe. How can oxygen, which is vital for life, help us to regain and retain our health? This is a question we'll be going over during this segment. I will also be talking about why air is important for us, how to breathe, when to get it, how much, and more. Without proper oxygen, cells in the brain start to die within a matter of just 3 minutes. Air is the A in the ABCs of CPR. The air before sin, Patriarchs and Prophets, page 44, paragraph 2 says, as the earth came forth from the hand of its maker, it was exceedingly beautiful. The air, untainted by foul miasma, was clear and healthful. Then same book, page 57, paragraph 1 says, after his transgression, Adam at first imagined himself entering upon a higher sense of existence, but soon the thought of his sin filled him with terror. The air, which had hitherto been of a mild and uniform temperature, seemed to chill the guilty pair. Second Testimonies, page 533 says, in a short time, you will so realize the benefit of pure air that you would not live without these blessings. Now, Satan, he imparts a deadly taint to the air. We're told in Counsels on Health, page 461, paragraph 1, Satan is exercising his power. He sweeps away the ripening harvest, and famine and distress follow. He imparts to the air a deadly taint, and thousands perish by the pestilence. These visitations are to become more and more frequent and disastrous. Now, I'm going to give you some information about fresh air and where you can find it in the Spirit of Prophecy. In 5 BC, page 1087, it says the earth would be a dusty globe without air. Air is better than medicine. Counsels on Health, page 55, paragraph 1. Blood moves sluggishly without air. First Testimonies 702 to 703. Blood purification requires. Counsels on Health, 55, paragraph 1. Children should run and play in the air. FE, page 60. Diseased stomach needs air. 2 T, 530. Exercise as much as possible in the open air. God uses to cause a seed to sprout. We need the air for our seeds to sprout. Desire of Ages, page 367. Air has an electrifying influence and it requires health. We need to have air to have good health. Ministry of Healing, 275, paragraph 2, and 274 through 275. Air should be in every room in the home. Adventist Home, page 153. Air is health restoring. MM 232. Air is more than medicine. CD 419. Air is food for the lungs. 2T 525. Air is relaxation from studying. Our lungs need a constant supply of fresh air. MH 274. Our lungs are benefited by the winter morning air. 2T 529. Air is more essential to us than food. CH 55.1. We need to know how to breathe properly. Second Selected Messages 287. We need to take full and deep aspirations of air. MH 272. The night air is not injurious as many think. 2T 527 to 528. Air is not an enemy to our health. 2T 533. Air is part of the elixir of life. 7T 76 through 77. We're not to be deprived of air. CD 302.3, paragraph 3. Prescribed for the sick. Fresh air. MM 234. Pure blood requires air. MH 293. It's a remedial agency. 2SM 291 and MH 127, paragraph 2. Our skin surface needs to breathe fresh air. 1T 701. Air is tenfold more beneficial outdoors than indoor. FE 73, paragraph 3. Air is very beneficial to ride in. 3T 75. We need to walk daily in the air. CH 52. And we are indebted to God for air. CS 17. Now, who needs air? Well, aged persons need it. MH 275 says. Babies need it. 2SM 465, paragraph 2. But be sure the baby is protected from a draft of air. Second Selected Messages 465, paragraph 2. Air. Who needs air? Great for sick persons. Counsels on Health, page 55, paragraph 1. And invalids should begin to moderately take in air. 2T 535. Also, lung fever patients need air. 2SM 305. Ministers need air. 3T 489. Nurses need air. MH 219. Persons of sedentary habits need air. MH 240. Physicians need it. Sick persons need it. MH264, students need it on a regular basis. Education 208, teachers need it. 3T489, and women need it. MH293. Also, fresh air is to be in our churches. It says in Ministry of Healing, page 274, paragraph 2, neglect of proper ventilation is responsible for much of the drowsiness and dullness that destroy the effect of many a sermon and make the teacher's work toilsome and ineffective. The importance of fresh air, we're told, is without proper oxygen, cells in our brain can start to die within a matter of just 3 minutes. Negative ions are a must for proper health. The air in our homes, if not aired out daily, are the positive ions that lead to many unhealthful conditions. Exercise and a free, abundant use of the air and sunlight would give life and strength to a emaciated invalid. 2T530. Paragraph 2. Now, the benefits of fresh air. While our appetite is excited by fresh air, 1T702, our blood circulation is improved, 1T702. Blood is cleansed by fresh air, MH271. Our body is refreshed by fresh air, 1T702. Our body is wholly electrified by fresh air, 1T701. Our body is wholly invigorated by fresh air, MM232. Our digestion is aided by fresh air, 1T702. Distracted brain is quieted by fresh air, and our health is improved by fresh air, ML139. Our mind is influenced by fresh air, 1T702. Sound sleep is induced by fresh air, 1T702. And vital organs are invigorated by fresh air, ML139. Councils on Health says fresh air will prove far more beneficial to sick persons than medicine and is far more essential to them than their food. They will do better and will recover sooner when deprived of food than when deprived of fresh air. That's page 55, paragraph 1. Now, how long does it take to see the results of getting fresh air? Well, in 2 Testimonies, page 533, it says, in a short time, you will so realize the benefit of exercise and pure air that you would not live without these blessings. Now, what happens if we lack fresh air? What does that lead to? Well, we're told in 1T703, acute diseases can happen. Our blood moves sluggishly without fresh air, 1T702 and 703. Our blood is poisoned by it. Our body is weakened, MH274. Our brain is enfeebled by 2SM436. Depression, 2SM459, paragraph 2. Diseases are caused from CH62. Our entire system suffers from a lack of 2T526. Fevers, 1T703. Our health is injured by Councils on Health, 173 through 174. Lack of fresh air leads to self-murder. Our liver is diseased by it, 1T701. Lungs are diseased by it, 1T701. Thousands are dead from lack of fresh air, CD419. Our vital organs are weakened by it, 4SGA-138. And weakness in the body from lack of fresh air, 1 Testimonies 702 to 703. So what makes the air impure? Well, a filthy premise can cause the air to be impure, we're told in Councils on Health, page 63. And dog or cat feces near the house, dead leaves, sewage system. Many breaths can poison the air, 2SM436. Overheated rooms can cause the air to be impure, 1 Testimonies 590 and 701. And we're also told that we should so accustom ourselves to the air that you will not be under the necessity of having the mercury higher than 65 degrees. That's in 1T702. So don't have the heater higher than 65 degrees in your house. Smoke and dust in the air endangers our health, MH262. Stove heat destroys vitality of fresh air in the home, 2SM, page 305. Tobacco users poison the air, MH328. Even the breath of smokers can even poison the air. Use of alcoholic liquor causes the air to be poisoned, MH328. Waste from our lungs poison the air, 4SGA, page 143. And waste from pores of skin poison the air, again, same book, 4SGA 143. So what about opening your windows during the rainy and cold season? Well, we're told in HR February 1st, 1874, paragraph 9, during the rainy season in California or anywhere else, when the sun does shine, we should make the most of it. Every room in our dwelling should be daily thrown open to the healthful rays of the sun, and the purifying air should be invited in. This will be a preventative of disease. Also, Health Reformer, February 1 again, 1874, paragraph 7 says, many seem to think if they exclude the air from their rooms because it is damp and foggy, they have an atmosphere in their house perfectly safe to breathe. But we have to breathe in damp and foggy days as well as in sunny weather. We must accept the air which God gives us, which is subject to atmospheric changes, sometimes dry and invigorating, while again it is damp, chill, and penetrating. We must meet these changes as they come and make provision best we can to guard ourselves from the effects of damp and chilly atmosphere and not subject ourselves to a greater evil by breathing air over and over again that has lost its vital properties. Now another quote, same place, only paragraph 11. Fresh air during the day in storm as well as in sunshine. It is certainly more pleasurable to have days of sunshine than those that are damp and foggy. But we must breathe in damp, unpleasant weather as well as in sunshine. We should labor to have the air in the house pure as possible. Even during the rainy season in California, I shall plead for fresh air. When does it get cool and damp? 1T702 says you should so accustom to the air that you will not be under the necessity of having the mercury higher than 65 degrees, as I mentioned earlier. And CTBH 104 paragraph 1 says to wear extra clothing if you feel chilled. Here's the quote, evening, it may be necessary to guard against chilliness by extra clothing. So what we do if we're cold, we put on an extra layer, and be sure you layer equally because you don't want to be unequally layered, as that's not good for the heart. So if you put an extra layer on top, you need to put an extra layer on the bottom and on your feet. HL 142 paragraph 1 says sleeping apartments should be large and so arranged as to have a circulation of air through them day and night. Why? Rooms that are not freely ventilated daily, we're told, this is HL page 142, and bedding that has not been thoroughly dried and aired are not fit for use. We feel confident that disease and great suffering are brought on by sleeping in rooms with closed and curtained windows, not admitting pure air and the rays of the sun. The room may not have an airing for months, nor the advantages of a fire for weeks, if at all. It is dangerous to health and life to sleep in these rooms until the outside air shall have circulated through them for several hours, and the bedding shall have been dried by the fire, or today a portable heater you can use. Unless this precaution is taken, the rooms and bedding will be damp. Every room in the house should be thoroughly ventilated every day, and in damp weather should be warmed by fires. Every room in your dwelling should be daily thrown open to the healthful rays of the sun, and the purifying air should be invited in. This will be a preventative of disease. Mildew and mold would be prevented. The confined air of unventilated rooms meet us with sickening odors of mildew and mold and the impurities exhaled by its inmates. The emanations from damp, moldy rooms and clothing are poisonous to the system. Then MM 262 paragraph 2 says, to neglect to let into every room in the house God's pure air and sunshine shows a lack of faith in him. Also see Luke 18:8. Wow, did you hear that? It says it shows a lack of faith in God. Wow. Well, many of us might have a guest room in our house, and they need to have fresh air every day too. We're told in Ministry of Healing, page 275, the guest chamber should have equal care with the rooms intended for constant use. Like other bedrooms, it should have air and sunshine and should be provided with some means of heating to dry out the dampness that always accumulates in a room that's not in constant use. Whoever sleeps in a sunless room or occupies a bed that has not been thoroughly dried and aired does so at the risk of health and often of life. Another quote, HR, April 1, 1871, paragraph 7 says, I have visited in families where it would have been a pleasure for me to remain overnight, but I could not do this without endangering my health. They did not feel the importance of ventilation and sunlight. The dread of being obliged to occupy a sleeping apartment that had been closed for days, not admitting these necessary blessings, has led me frequently to deprive myself of the privilege of remaining with dear friends for any length of time. Windows and blinds have been closed, keeping out air and sunshine until I have felt dizzy and faint, wholly unfitted to benefit the family or to receive benefit. Now, there's ill effects of sleeping without fresh air. Second Selected Messages, page 463, says, sleeping apartments should be large and so arranged to have air circulation through them day and night. Those who have excluded the air from their sleeping room should commence their course immediately. They should let air in by degrees and increase its circulation until they can bear it winter and summer with no danger of taking cold. The lungs, in order to be healthy, must have pure air. Second Selected Messages, page 463, paragraph 2 says, those who have not had a free circulation of air in their rooms through the night generally awake feeling exhausted, feverish, and know not the cause. It was air, vital air, that the whole system required, but which it could not obtain. Upon rising in the morning, most persons would be benefited by taking a sponge bath, or if more agreeable, a hand bath, with merely a wash bowl of water. This will remove impurities from the skin. Then the clothing should be removed piece by piece from the bed and exposed to the air. The windows should be opened and the blinds fastened back and the air left to circulate freely for several hours, if not all day, through the sleeping apartments. In this manner, the bed and clothing will become thoroughly aired and the impurities will be removed from the room. Now, night air is essential. We're told in Health Reformer, February 1st, 1874, paragraph 11, I plead for fresh air in the night. Same place, Health Reformer, paragraph 10 says the idea that night air is unhealthful and must be excluded from our sleeping apartments is a mistake. In the night, God designed that we should breathe night air, for we have no other. Our Creator would not make night air dangerous to health and yet compel us to breathe it. Night air is as health for us to breathe in the night as the day air is in the day. The Councils on Health 59, paragraph 3 says, many have been taught from childhood that night air is positively injurious to health and therefore must be excluded from their rooms. To their own injury, they close the windows and doors of their sleeping apartments to protect themselves from the night air, which they say is dangerous to health. In this, they are deceived. So Christ tells us, let no man deceive you in Matthew 24, verses 3 and 4. Now, God has provided for his creatures air to breathe for the day, and the same made a little cooler for the night. In the night, it is not possible for you to breathe anything but night air. The question is, Shall the night air we breathe be pure, or is it improved after it has been breathed over and over? Is it for our health to breathe the polluted night air of this car? The exhalations thrown off by the lungs and bodies of men steeped in tobacco and alcohol pollute the air and endanger health. And yet nearly all the passengers sit as indifferent as though inhaling the purest atmosphere. God has wisely provided for us that in the night we should breathe night air, and in the day, the air of the day. If we fail to answer the plan of God and the blood becomes impure, our wrong habits have made it thus. But the air of the night, breathed in the night, will not of itself poison the current of human life. Many are suffering from disease. Well, I'm sorry, that last paragraph was 2T, page 527, paragraph 3. Then Counsels on Health 59, paragraph 3 says, many are suffering from disease because they refuse to receive into their rooms at night the pure air. So now be sure not to sit under a draft either, because if your bed is directly underneath a window, then opening a window in the next adjoining room would be helpful. So how do we properly breathe? Well, Ministry of Healing, page 127 says, pure air, sunlight, abstemiousness, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, trust in divine power, these are the two remedies. Every person should have a knowledge of nature's remedial agencies and how to apply them. Pure air and with a precious knowledge of how to breathe, Second Selected Messages, 287, paragraph 4. The lungs should be allowed the greatest freedom possible, we're told in VSS 191, paragraph 2. Their capacity is developed by free action. It diminishes if they are cramped and compressed. Second Selected Messages 287, paragraph 4 says, nature will want some assistance to bring these things to their proper condition, which may be found in the simplest remedies, especially in the use of nature's own furnished remedies. Pure air and with a precious knowledge of how to breathe. Now, don't wear tight clothing that restricts your lungs, and don't smoke because that truly affects your breathing. In order to have good blood, we must breathe well, Counsels on Health says, page 59. Full, deep inspirations of pure air which fill the lungs with oxygen, purify the blood. They impart to it a bright color and send it a life-giving current to every part of the body. So a good respiration soothes the nerves, stimulates the appetite, renders digestion more perfect, and induces sound, refreshing sleep, we're told in Ministry of Healing 272, paragraph 1. We also must have proper posture for proper breathing. ML 128, paragraph 2 says, it is a great thing to ensure health by placing ourselves in right relations to the laws of life. In the same book, paragraph 3 says, among the first things to be aimed at should be a correct position, both in sitting and standing. God made man upright, and he desires him to possess not only the physical, but the mental and moral benefit and grace and dignity and self-possession, the courage and self-reliance which an erect bearing so greatly tends to promote. Also, we're told in Education, page 198, paragraph 4, the one who sits and stands erect is more likely than others to breathe properly. Impress the importance of deep breathing, and while the importance of deep breathing is shown, the practice should be insisted upon. Let exercises be given which will promote this, and see that the habit becomes established. Now I want you to think of a balloon. When you blow it up, it expands, and when you let the air out, it deflates. That's how we should be breathing. When you breathe in, your stomach should go out. When you exhale, your stomach should go in. Most people do the opposite, so practice breathing correctly is very important. Now, the benefits of good respiration is it purifies the blood, imparts it to a brighter color, and it sends the blood a life-giving current to every part of the body. It soothes the nerves, stimulates the appetite, helps with sound sleep and digestion, electrifies the whole body, refreshes the system, gets rid of impurities, is life to the skin, and it helps with our mind, and it helps with cold, fevers, and lung diseases. Now, here's some things that can restrict proper flow of air to your lungs. Smoking, certain medications, food colorings. It can act like an allergic reaction and not get the air flowing. Allergies, lack of exercise, closed windows, poor ventilation, and many others as well. Deep breathing is very good for the body. In Education 198, it tells us that. All those things that we talked about, how it promotes digestion and induces your sound sleep and all of that, that's from Education. Now, here's some other things to keep in mind. Review and Herald, October 18, 1881 says, every law governing the human system is to be strictly regarded, for it is as truly a law of God as is the word of Holy Writ. And every willful deviation from obedience to this law is as certainly sin as violation of the moral law. Wow, that's a powerful quote. It says also in Counsels on Diet and Foods, page 17, paragraph 3, it is as truly a sin to violate the laws of our being as it is to break the 10 Commandments. To do either is to break God's laws. So we need to also have plants in our home that purify the air. Some good things to have in your home are pine, cedar, and fir trees. All needle leaf trees are excellent to have in the area where you live. Those, of course, would be outside your home. And we're told in Counsels on Health, page 170, paragraph 2, how grateful to weary invalids accustomed to city life, the glare of many lights and the noise of the streets, are the quiet and freedom of the country. In the country where they could sit in the open air, rejoice in the sunshine, and breathe the fragrance of the trees and flowers. There are life-giving properties in the balsam of the pine, in the fragrance of the cedar and the fir, and there are other trees that are health-promoting. Let no such trees be ruthlessly cut down. Cherish them where they are abundant and plant more where there are but few. Because of massive spraying of chemtrails and living in the country where there's lots of the above-named types of trees, it would be conducive to health. It's also great to have house plants, like I said, in your home, and I will be providing some links for where you can get a list of those plants. And there should be one plant for every 100 square feet in the home or office building. There's a health article that says open the windows and get plants. Now, keep these last couple things in mind. Study and teach laws of preventive medicine. There is now positive need to interestedly instruct those who look for them for medical skill to ascertain the cause of their infirmities. They should call their attention in a special manner to the laws which God has established, which cannot be violated with impunity. They dwell much on the working of disease, but do not, as a general rule, arouse the attention to the laws which must be sacredly and intelligently obeyed to prevent disease. That's MM 223, paragraph 2. And one last quote says, MM 225, paragraph 1, the sick should be educated to have confidence in nature's great blessings which God has provided. And the most effective remedies for disease are pure soft water, the blessed God-given sunshine coming into the rooms of the invalids, living outdoors as much as possible, having healthful exercise, eating and drinking foods that are prepared in the most healthful manner. Well, that's our time for today. I hope what you've heard on here will be a blessing to you and your family. And until next time, may the good Lord bless and keep you. And remember, God loves you and wants you to be in health.